Joining us now, curator from the Hockey Hall of Fame and keeper of the cup, Phil Pritchard. How are you doing today, Phil?
Jesse, I'm doing great. How's everything going in Southern California?
No complaints. It's a lovely day, not too hot, not too cold, clear blue sky. Everything's fine. A little bit of drizzle this week, but not too much. Carlin, it's been a while since you've seen Phil, eh?
It's been a while, but the last time I saw him, we had such a great adventure. Phil, I've got your photo framed. I had to bring it out from the living room here. Phil did such a nice job. He got me this photo of my dad after the Flyers' unbeaten streak. It's him in the locker room, and I paid a whole visit to him in the Hockey Resource Center, which is different than the Hall of Fame. It's kind of like, I like to think of it like the archive, like it's just all the archives of hockey in general, not even just things that would end up in the Hall of Fame. So it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's got all the files and photos and everything, and the whole history of the game was right there. And as you remember, we walked through everything: the stick racks, the trophies, the jerseys, and of course, the files and photos and that on your dad's career and the whole history of the LA Kings we got there as well. So
it was epic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And we're fortunate enough to, sorry, Carlin, we're fortunate enough to have the history of the league coincide with the history of the Kings, because the Kings did, in fact, go ahead and win the Stanley Cup on two separate occasions in 2012, 2014. But Phil, the reason we're having you here today is because in 1892, 129 years ago, Canada's sixth Governor General, Sir Frederick Arthur Stanley, proposed the creation of what would go on to become the Stanley Cup. So does that make March 18th the birthday of the Stanley Cup?
That is the birthday of the Stanley Cup. And if I could ask...
Oh, wow. Okay. There you go.
If it would answer you, it would say it's his birthday. But it can't, so you got to listen to me. So I've been in quarantine, like I said, and it's got to hang out with me. So here it is in my kitchen.
I just started sweating.
Yeah, that's good company. That's not a bad roommate for the quarantine. Now, Phil, I gotta be a party pooper. I'm sorry. Is that the cup?
That is the cup. So
wow. All right.
So what happened, as I was telling you, we were in Tampa during the Stanley Cup celebration, which led into the 2021 season on January 13th. They dropped the puck. And we drove back to Toronto, but because of the quarantine rules, customs officers said, you have to go right home. And I said, well, I got this trophy. He said, you got to go right home. So I came right home. Wow. We haven't opened since. So I have a roommate. So
how many days with the cup is that for you now?
It will be 2 months.
Wow.
In my house tomorrow. Yeah.
Now, I know there are rules about who can drink out of the cup, who can lift out of the cup. Do you follow those rules when it's just you in the cup?
100%, Jesse. There has been no drinking out of it. And if it could talk, it would tell you that I'm an honest person. And yeah, there's been no drinking out of it. There's been, it's basically sat here. I've got my dog, I've got security, everything. And it's safe as once we get reopened, and hopefully the world will get reopening soon and we can get it back into the Hall of Fame and get it open. But yeah, it's going to be here in my kitchen for its birthday.
For fans who don't know, what are some of the rules, both unspoken and kind of enforced at the same time, while you're traveling with the cup and presenting it to people?
Well, I think the best thing, Carolyn, is respect. That might be the best rule of all. And as LA King fans know, they've won it twice, and the players were so respectful with it on their time with the cup and everything. Everything we did, it all revolved around the team. So the guys get the opportunity to take it home. And we went to Anze Kopitar's back in Slovenia, and his friends were there, and he did a lot of public things, but it was all done with respect to the history of the game, the history of the Stanley Cup, obviously representing the Los Angeles Kings in the National Hockey League. So, but some of those rules, drinking out of the cup, if you've won it, you're able to do that. But yeah. Anze wanted his dad to drink out of it. So, hey, that's awesome. Or his brother or what have you. So I guess as a winner, you have the rights to let whoever you want to drink out of it. Nobody can just come up and have a drink out of it. You've got to earn that. And I think that's great what hockey does with the tradition and the aura about it. Same with lifting it over your head. You've got to earn that right. And We saw Dustin Brown the first time as the captain winning then and hoisting it over his head and passing it to all the teammates and that. And that is something that is earned. The guys have spent their whole life towards that goal. And I think it's a great unwritten rule and everyone respects that.
So cool.
Phil, when young people, specifically my sister, ask me, what to do, what am I supposed to do for a living? How do I get a cool job? What is my path in the world? The advice that I stumbled onto in the middle of my life is always this: Oprah Winfrey presumably has a florist. Oprah Winfrey has a driver, an interior decorator, a baker, a dog sitter, right? Like all these mundane jobs that if they weren't being done for Oprah Winfrey would be perfectly mundane, but because they are Oprah Winfrey's florist, they get a cool job. You're a curator.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's a curator for a museum in Boston. She loves it. It's a good job, but it's not, keeper of the cup. So how do you go from, being a curator to being keeper of the cup?
Well, I guess for your little sister, I think first and foremost is when you get up in the morning, you got to love what you do. Regardless of what it is, you've got to love what you do. And I think all of us here on the call all love what we do, enjoy getting up in the morning and doing that. So that's job one. But how do you get to be keeper of the cup? I guess I was fortunate through college. My co-op was at the Ontario Hockey League, which is the junior league in Ontario that represents the provinces across Canada. And I volunteered. And I volunteered enough that I bothered them so much that they just said, here's a job, like go away. or I did a good job, I guess. And they hired me. And I think my advice to anybody is if you have a passion for something you want to do, you've got to get yourself known. You got to volunteer. You got to get to know the people. You've got to be involved in that. And so that worked through like 4.5 years. Then my boss came to me and said, there's an opportunity at the Hockey Hall of Fame that I think you'd be perfect at. And as we all know, the hockey world's a small world. So everybody seems to know somebody. That 6 degrees of separation in hockey is about 2 degrees, I think. And so I got the opportunity there, and it kind of gradually became curator and keeper of the cup.
Wow.
And by gradually, I mean, my first week on the job, I went with the Stanley Cup to north of Toronto because we had a small staff and no one else wanted to do it. And I kind of put my hand up, Jesse, and said, sure, I'd do that. Why not? So, I mean, whether it's that or whether it's Oprah's florist or whether you're the guy that writes the hymns on the back of the cards. I mean, someone's got to do everything. And again, as long as you like what you do, I think that's what it is. And for us being curator at a hockey museum where you get to talk hockey and preserve hockey history and hang out with a 3-foot silver rod.
So Phil, I got to ask, because this came up, I don't remember when it was, a few seasons ago, but who owns the cup?
So the Stanley Cup was, as you said off the top, was donated by Lord Stanley. He was the Governor General of Canada, and he was basically the go-between between the royalty and our Prime Minister. So he donated it to the Dominion of Canada, and he appointed 2 trustees. And there's always been 2 trustees since day one. There still is today. Brian F. O'Neill and Scotty Morrison are the 2 trustees. They govern over it. But the idea was it's played for by the best league in the world, which is the National Hockey League. So since 1926, the NHL has been the only league that has ever played for it. So in essence, it's a National Hockey League trophy governed by 2 trustees appointed by the Governor General 129 years ago.
My gosh. Well, okay. This is something I'm sure you get asked all the time, and there's can't possibly be one favorite, but do you have a time with the cup that you spent with a team that just stands out to you the most as maybe the most special time, the most hilarious time, the most crazy time? Is there something that just stands out to you that you will just never get out of your head in your journeys with the cup?
Well, of course, it was 2 summers with the Los Angeles Kings.
Good answer.
Great answer.
Yes, he paid me to say that. I have.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think what is great, and it's a great question because I do get asked that a lot. And to me, every time you get to go out with either a player or a coach or management on their day, it becomes their day, and that is so special. And yeah, we might have been to the town before for someone else, but now they put their own personal spin on it, so it makes it that much special. To me, though, I love going to a new city or a new country, like I had mentioned before with Anze Kopitar in Bled, Slovenia. Beautiful place, beautiful family, and to be the first Slovenian to bring it back to his homeland. He was such a proud, on both occasions, how proud of Slovenian he was to have it there for minor hockey kids so they could have a dream. And I think for each player, that's what it's all about, Carolyn, is they want to give back. They know the team on the ice is part of it, but it's the team around them, their family and friends, their teachers that they went to public school that told them to, you better do your homework, other you're not going to get to play hockey tonight, or whatever that is. That's what makes it special. And yeah, the parties are unbelievable. I'll be honest. The Los Angeles Kings, when they won the cup, they had two parades. They had the team parade that was downtown LA, and then the players had their own parade on the boardwalk. Yep. And that parade was unbelievable because it was put on by the players. So Luke and everybody didn't really know how it was going to work out, but the players lived on the ocean there and Redondo and all the beaches, and they wanted to give back. And again, I talk about how they're giving back. Well, the players all got together and I think we all had pickup trucks, and we drove down the boardwalk. So they had the houses on one side, the beach on the other, and it was a players parade. And that is unbelievable. And we've never done that in any other year. Have we had a players parade only? It's always been organized by the team, but the players got together, and I think Jeff Carter and I can't remember who all put it together, but it was really cool. So, and that one Jesse didn't pay me for. That's honest.
Now, Phil, I know you get asked a lot of the same questions over and over and over again. I'm gonna throw you one, and I hope it's the first time you've been asked this question. Do you talk to the cup when you're alone with it?
Do I talk to it? Not really, but if I did, I'd win every argument. Because it's the
there you go.
I win the arguments.
I feel like I definitely would. And then last question for me. This is just a personal thing that bugs me. I do it all the time. I try not to. People refer to multiple, like they say, the Kings have 2 Stanley Cups. That drives me nuts because in my mind, there's 1 cup and they've won it twice.
Correct.
Do you correct people when they make that mistake? Because I try not to make the error. Good. All right, good. I like that.
Time. And I'm sure it sounds annoying because they go, yeah, but they won it twice. Well, that's right. They did win it twice. They don't have 2 cups. It's the same one. Right. And then it's neat because I don't think everybody understands that the Stanley Cup is only one. Like in football and baseball and basketball, and nothing against those trophies. They're unbelievable, but they make a new one every year. And in hockey, you have to win this. Your name goes here, and then you give it back. And I can't remember the player that said to me once, he said, we only rent it for the summer. He goes, then we have to give it back and we have to earn it again. So it's not ours, but when their name goes on, they become part of the union of a Stanley Cup champion, and that can never be taken away from you. So the LA Kings have won the Stanley Cup twice.
That's right.
That's our grammar. That's our grammar test for today.
It's important. It's subtle but important distinction.
Jesse's been championing that for years now. Guys, it's not 2 cups. It's not.
You won the cup twice. Exactly. Well, listen, Phil, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. I hope quarantine goes well and everything comes back to normal soon, and maybe we'll see you guys soon.
Absolutely.
Hopefully. And if you do talk to the cup, tell it happy birthday for us.
We will. Thank you very much. And I will. Off the air.
Thanks, Phil.
Thanks, guys.